I tore my meniscus back in December, my left meniscus, the knee that's bending on screen here, and these are all the things I worked on. So this first one was an overhead Cossack with the kettlebell. What I'm really focusing on is I'm looking up at the kettlebell and I'm making sure that the overhead arm is locked out straight. I call these matrix squats, matrix Cossacks. I love the lighting in this one. I thought it looked cool, but waving my hands around like this, it's really just inspired by the matrix, and what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to off-balance myself. It's a huge balance challenge whipping my arms around like that while hitting full range of motion Cossack squats like that. It's huge balance challenge. I highly recommend it. And now this is something you're going to see a lot in the video. This is how I've been working on my pancakes lately, by rolling my shoulders and working my arms outwards as I lower my spine and like kind of work inch down vertebrae by vertebrae, vertebra by vertebra. This was my first day out in the sun. I'm a little pasty, but I'm so happy to get some sun on my skin. I love these sit-throughs. The key to making these sit-throughs work is make sure that you're in structural alignment. I really always strive to make sure there's kind of like a balance line going through my foot of the support leg, through my entire torso, and then down through my shoulder into the ground of my arm. It's very much like a handstand line, you know, like a one-arm handstand. Like, that's something you're going to run into a lot in the concept of calisthenics, especially balance-based ones. You're always going to want to find that strong structural alignment. Very important. So here you see me using weight to work into an extended range of motion. It just allows me to sink deeper into my range of motion and really push the mobility up to the next level. This is not heavy at all. This fixed weight barbell is, I think, 20 pounds. All the weight you see me using in this is very light. The kettlebell was only 20 pounds. And again, I'm just using it to work my mobility. This is my first time doing any lower body work on the Bosu ball. I just did this as a one and done. I plan on doing a lot more of that as my knee enters into its final phase of healing. I'd say it's at like 90% now. I'm going to start doing a lot more of this because what the Bosu ball did for my scapula and my one-arm handstand training, I have a feeling it's really going to do for my hip capsules. I find that the stability just hits those socket joints in a way that I've never experienced before. This was fantastic. I lost my balance there. Interesting challenge. I'll be playing around with this a lot more in the future. I got kind of bored because I wanted to do like dragon tail pistols and regular pistols, but my knee wasn't ready. I could only do it on my right leg right now. My left leg can't handle pistols yet. That's like the last thing lacking that I plan on fixing. So this, I might look like I'm always trying to be like all artsy fartsy with my movement, and admission, I totally am. You got me. I'm an art nerd. Art nerd. No, I'm an art nerd. Like, I just love how it looks. I love the shoulder roll going down. I love like bringing my arms wide like this. A lot of my movement patterns are they're inspired by traditional martial arts. I see things out in the world. I think they're beautiful, and I try to integrate them into my body's movement patterns and ways in which I can like just change it. So that's something that I also like doing, and I encourage if you try this. It's every single detail I want there. So you see that turnover, that flick of the knee as I turn over in the hip socket. I'm doing that by lifting my foot up vertically as I bend it backwards, and then changing my hip, rotating my hip and extending outwards. Everything always has a movement, and it's almost always based in art, and I want that art to be healthy for my joints and just beneficial to extending my range of motion. I don't do any static, flexibility. I don't do any passive stretching. This is what all my flexibility comes from. My side splits come 100% from Cossack squats. I'm working on developing my front splits now by just using those really, really deep lunges. This I love. Much of my pike flexibility came from that. That's something you're going to see a lot of in the future. So that little hybrid push-up of the dragon pistol, I did a really cool flow with that like a week and a half ago, but I just didn't get a chance to refilm it yet, and I'm really excited for how that's going to turn out. I came up with a very cool choreography for that, and it's dope. I'm working the legs and the upper body at the same time. The more the merrier. That's what I love about this. I'm hitting my legs and my mobility in as many different patterns as possible. I'm just getting more bang for my buck, and since I don't do any passive stretching, I don't have to do it because the type of work I'm doing here takes care of extending my range of motion. So again, more bang for my buck so I can work on my upper body more, because that's where all the fun is. So here I'm only using 95 pounds, and again, this is not for strength. I'm only doing this for weighted mobility. And if you see, watch my ankles and my heels, I'm up on my toes here and I'm going full range of motion. Again, I'm using a weight that is very safe for me, even with a torn meniscus. And now I'm down on my heels and going full range of motion. And I'm just really trying to sit in that bottom position and let that weight like drive me into the end range of my joints. Feels amazing. Now here, this I love, and this is something I'm gonna explore a lot. This is a conceptual flag flow. So if you notice, all of my movement patterns are unfurling and kind of waving outwards horizontally. I want to unroll like an unrolling flag, and then kind of like the wind is blowing me outwards, and then I'm just going to cartwheel through the flag cartwheel and enter into the uneven handstand. There's going to be a lot of conceptual work in the future and a lot more mobility work. Love you guys.